this but he saw that his Gigi had an idea. Although? Naruto asked. I could have someone else train you. Someone awesome, Hiruzen said as he saw Naruto's eyes lit up again. But now there is another small problem at hand. Naruto's home. Naruto. Since you don't have a place to stay, you could stay here or have your own apartment. Naruto then started thinking. Even if he stayed at his Gigi's place, he probably wouldn't see him that often since he's so busy. Plus it would be nice to get used to living on his own. So he decided. I think it would be better to live on my own Gigi. I can get used to living on my own and not relying on other people, Naruto said. Hiruzen smiles. Alright then. I already have your apartment ready. I'll take you there. Hiruzen picks Naruto up and go to his new apartment. I have to learn that, Naruto thought to himself. The apartment was new and clean. It was already furnished. It had a kitchen, bedroom, living room, and a bathroom. All Naruto could have asked for. The kitchen already had food in its fridge and a book about learning for beginners, which made Naruto smile at that. The bedroom only had a bed and a nightstand by its side. The living room had a couch and a coffee table in it. It also had a bookshelf with books on it. This is perfect, Gigi. Naruto was smiling like a bastard, holding tears back. This also made Hiruzen happy, seeing him this happy. Glad you like it. I'll bring you money by the end of every month, but be careful what you spend it on. Also, tomorrow at 7 AM at the training ground 7. That's when you'll meet your sensei. With that, he left Naruto. Alright. I'm going to be the strongest ninja there is, Naruto declared. He headed now to get used to this new apartment and prepare for tomorrow. He had never done any ninja training before, although avoiding the villagers was training in itself. Since Naruto had no idea how he's going to train tomorrow, he prepared mentally. It's 6 in the morning. Naruto just woke up excited for the first day of training. His Gigi said that his sensei is going to be awesome, so that's even more reason to be excited. He got up and made breakfast. He had instant ramen he bought yesterday. He doesn't know how to make proper breakfast yet, so instant ramen is the best he could do. He ate and got out. I better do quick exercises before I go. With that thought, he leaves and goes out. He is waiting at the training ground 7, and at exactly 7 AM someone arrives in a flash.
How's it going?
At first sight, Naruto saw that he is an Anbu and that he is pretty strong. It was only something he unconsciously knew. Good morning. I'm your sensei, the Anbu said. Naruto was analyzing him. He said good morning back and introduced himself. His mask was fox-like and had brown spiky hair and normal Anbu clothes. That's all Naruto could make of him. The Anbu's name is Tenzo, but Naruto calls him sensei. The training was mostly chakra, control training. Tenzo didn't want him to do much physical training so it doesn't stop his growth spurt.
He did a lot.
One thing Tenzo noticed by Naruto was that even though he had way too much chakra for a 6-year-old, he still had not bad chakra control. Almost every ninja who had a large amount of chakra, their control wouldn't be as good as someone who was less chakra.
Every other wrestler
But that didn't apply for Naruto.
is up there.
Tenzo first taught Naruto the 3 basic jutsu you learn in the academy. Those were clone technique, substitution jutsu, and transformation jutsu. It took Naruto a while to get the hang of those jutsus, but after a week he got the hang of it. Since Naruto knew the basic clone technique, Tenzo thought that it's a good idea to teach him the shadow clone jutsu. A better, solid version of the clone technique. And with the amount of chakra Naruto has, he had no doubt Naruto could pull it out. 4 years time skip. Naruto is now 10 years old. During that time he had improved a lot in training. He had also joined the academy. Naruto was more of a quiet guy, although sometimes a bit cheerful. He didn't see the point of the academy.
From what I
He
heard,
knew everything they were teaching him.
he had
The only thing he liked in the academy was the taijutsu training.
I want to say
Since
he
he
had
didn't do
a
that much
heart
taijutsu
attack.
training with his sensei. Even though the academy was boring, it still wasn't that bad. The teachers
I
were
know
actually
he
fair towards
had
him and didn't really show any
neck
hostile reaction
surgery
towards him.
or
His
back
classmates
surgery.
weren't that bad either,
He
except
might have passed
Sasuke and his
away from that
fangirls.
too.
He hated how he effortlessly had girls around him. He just sat in the class and ignored everyone. What's so good about him anyway? Thought Naruto. Although even he had some fangirls of his own, but he was oblivious enough not to notice them. Naruto has white hair and sky blue eyes. He wears a full black tracksuit with the Uzumaki symbol on his back. He was quiet in class too and didn't talk much except when he was with Shikamaru and Choji. The teachers seemed to like him too, since he was a good student with good grades and didn't really cause problems. Naruto never used his full power in the class though, since he wanted to surprise them at one point. He only used just enough to get an average grade. Training with an Anbu sure has its perks. His training had gone pretty well for the past years, and today was the day he was going to learn his chakra affinity. He was pretty excited. During the 4 years, He had also learned the body flicker jutsu, but he still wasn't that good at using it. He arrived at the usual training ground. Naruto always got there earlier so he could do exercises before he began. 30 minutes of exercises before his sensei arrived seemed to do good on him. Tenzo arrived and had a chakra induction paper on him. A special type of paper that is made only with a special type of tree. Naruto knew what it was the moment he saw it, and his eyes lit up with even more excitement. They greeted each other. Tenzo gave Naruto the special paper and explaining. "Alright, Naruto. This is a special type of paper, as I'm sure you already know. You push your chakra into the paper and it will show you what your chakra affinity is. If it ignites and turns to ash, then it's fire. If it gets cleanly cut into, then it's wind. If it wrinkles, then it's lightning. If it turns to dirt and crumbles away, then it's earth, and if it turns wet, then it's water." Naruto nods as he already knows this. Naruto then grabs the paper and starts pouring his chakra into it. The paper is cleanly cut in two, one side crumbles away, and the second side wrinkles. Tenzo is pretty shocked, seeing as he's got 3 affinities. Only a few Jounin have 3 affinities, which made Tenzo even more proud of his student. Tenzo smiles and then says, "Good job, Naruto. Since you found your chakra nature today, you'll get the rest of the day free, since the next few years aren't going to be easy." And with that, Tenzo disappears in a swirl of leaves. Naruto, also being proud, goes out to finally treat himself to ramen, seeing as he hasn't eaten there for a while. "Yotuchi, a miso chacho pork ramen for me, please." The shop owner turns around as he sees Naruto. He remembers him from when he was younger. He used to come there quite often. "Hey, Naruto," Tucci said with a surprised voice, and then continues. "Haven't seen you for a while. How have you been?"
"Oh, spectator.
"I've been training," Naruto said in a proud
Yeah,
voice,
Jake
rubbing
the
his nose.
Snake is still alive.
"I see.
I know.
Here's a ramen on the house," Tucci
Stout
said, also
Hall
proud of
passed
Naruto.
away
"Thank you,"
years ago.
Naruto replied back in a cheerful voice. Naruto is
Ozzy
home,
Osbourne
reading
passed
a book
away.
while also being bored. Other than training, he didn't really have that much to do except play with his friends. But they were training today, so he was way too bored. Training was the only thing he could think of right now, so he trained.
Cosby Show.
He had only done minimal physical training until now, so he thought he'd kick it up a notch and maybe increase his speed and power. He had a plan for his training.
Who was the
He
last
had only gotten hints
wrestler
of it from
before?
Tenzo, but he also finally figured it out. The secret of shadow clones. With his amount of chakra, he had no doubt he could use the jutsu to its full advantage. So now he could train on a few stuff at the same time. He put that idea on the back of his mind. He's definitely using any shortcuts he has to get stronger. Naruto just came home exhausted from his training. That was the first serious physical training he had done, and it was pretty draining. But all that tiredness seemed to have washed away when he remembered that tomorrow he's finally going to learn battle jutsus. Until now he had mostly worked on his chakra control on the 4 basic jutsus. His chakra control was really good. Way better than one would think for someone with such high chakra levels. He had also learned the shadow clone jutsu, transformation jutsu, and the substitution jutsu, and perfected them. But he was having trouble with the body flicker jutsu. Although he ranked, it still was a bit more complicated than the previous jutsus. But he was hoping he would perfect it in the next 2 years. Naruto was resting as he made his clones prepare dinner. Even the clones were as lazy as the original, but they had to do what they had to do. They had prepared a nice hot and healthy meal for him to eat. As quickly as Naruto ate, he jumped on his bed and immediately slept. As always, he wakes up at 6 a.m. and does his morning routine. He brushes his teeth and washes his face. Puts on new and clean clothes and then eats breakfast. At 6:30 a.m. he left the house and went to the training ground. Always the same routine. First, it was boring, but after a while, he got used to it. At 7 a.m. sharp, his sensei arrives ready to train the young boy.
Yeah, he
"Good
passed
morning,
away.
Naruto.
He
Hope you're ready for today's training," said Tenzo. "Good morning, sensei." "Yes, of course I'm ready," replied a way too excited Naruto. As soon as Tenzo was about to start his training, Naruto interrupts. "Sensei, I have an idea I would like to use for my training." "Oh?" replied Tenzo, already guessing what it might be. "I'd like to use my shadow clones to train. I could have large groups of clones learning multiple jutsus while I train on taijutsu. What do you think, sensei?" asked Naruto. Tenzo smiles. "Good that you figured it out. For the past few years, we barely focused on your taijutsu training. Having 2 years just focused on it seems like a good idea." But then Tenzo stopped thinking. While yes, when dispelling a shadow clone returned its memories to the original, no one ever used it to train, so who knows how useful it will be. Tenzo then asks Naruto, "Have you already tried, seeing how good it works?" "Yes, I have. I used them to learn a few things while I was training. For example, cooking. I'm still not the best at it, but I'm decent. Naruto
That's
pauses a bit and then
due the
continues.
ball in the
But
field. I
shadow
gotta
clones have a
check
bit of a
that
harder
out,
time
brother.
learning something new that I previously didn't. Tenzo was thinking if it's really a good idea to let the shadow clones train. But Naruto wouldn't suggest it
Oh,
if it
okay.
wasn't, so he asks him. So? Why would you suggest it then? Well, while they aren't as good at mastering a jutsu as I would be, they still help a lot at multitasking. So while I, the original, focus on taijutsu for the next 2 years, the clones will probably master the
Dude, he
jutsus in
didn't
the
even
next 2
aim.
years as well, answered Naruto. Tenzo then smiles at this. Very good, Naruto. Tenzo then forms hand seals as another Tenzo comes out of him. It was the shadow clone, but not like the one Naruto has. It was a wood-style clone. Just at first sight, it seemed more durable than a normal one. Alright then, I will aid you in your
Oh no,
taijutsu training while my
I'm
clone
still
would help
gonna
your clones in the ninjutsu
spectate.
training, said Tenzo.
Yeah, Kevin
Naruto then
Nash
nods and
is
creates
still
60
alive.
clones.
He
He then
has his
divide
own
the 60 clones into 3 groups,
podcast, I
each
think,
group having 20 clones.
or a
Each group
YouTube
also
channel.
dividing into 2 groups of 10. 6 groups of clones,
No,
each learning
scratch
another
that.
jutsu. This was also a bit harder for Tenzo's clone, but he
I
managed.
believe he's
He
doing.
only showed the clones the basics and
He's
they would
still
work
alive.
alone
He's just
after.
doing a bunch of
Tenzo was
interviews.
planning on adding
We
chakra
almost
weights on his
lost
body and then spar
Eric
with him
Bissoff
for a few hours. They
at
started
one
small,
time because
first adding 5 kilograms.
he
His
had
whole
a
body
health
was heavier and it was hard to
scare there
move.
for a while,
But he got used to it.
but
Tenzo
he
ordered him
got
to
better.
keep them on for the next 2 years, adding weight every few days or a week. The first day of sparring wasn't all that bad. 5 kilograms wasn't that bad since he got used to it.
Ever
But the
since I
next it was
started
worse.
spectating this guy,
2.5
he's
kilograms didn't really
refusing
seem much,
to
but adding the 2.5 kilograms to
use
the
his
5
weapons.
kilograms was pretty draining. Thankfully the exercises he did since a few years ago seemed to pay off. Naruto and Tenzo would spar for hours. Tenzo didn't even phase that much while Naruto was exhausted. He still gave it his all and kept trying. After a few more hours his body started to ache. His muscles were sore and his limbs seemed heavier. He was panting. Look like we went overboard a little, Naruto. Take a break, said Tenzo. Naruto without saying a word goes near a tree, drinks a bit of water, and lays down to rest. The wind was calm, somewhat warm. The birds chirping, the tree leaves rustling. Everything seemed so calm that he had fallen asleep. An hour passes. Naruto was still sleeping but was woken up by Tenzo. He didn't want to ruin his sleep, but he could catch a cold if he stayed longer. He taps on Naruto's shoulder and says, Naruto.
See,
Naruto,
Sid.
wake up.
Are you
Naruto
talking
slowly
about
opens his
Sid
eyes,
Vicious
looks around as he
by any
comes to his
chance?
senses. For how long was I asleep? He asked. For an hour, Tenzo replied. An hour? Do you know how much I could have
Because if
training
you're
during
talking
that 1
about
hour?
Sid
Naruto hurriedly
Vicious,
stands up yelling.
he
Naruto,
passed
calm
away.
down. You couldn't have trained anyways since your body is in th. Tenzo was shocked seeing as he's in a really good
I
shape.
think he did
The
at least.
QB? I knew he had good
Let me check,
regeneration abilities,
look
but
it
this
up
is
or
quite
not.
something. Tenzo thought. What? Naruto asked. Nothing. Come on now, stop slacking off, let's get to training, said Tenzo laughing seeing Naruto's irritated face. After a few minutes of sparring, so an hour of sleep really healed him from the soreness? The fatigue? This will probably help him improve his body faster. Tenzo thought. Every day Tenzo and Naruto sparred, Naruto's fighting style improved. He became more skilled overall. He could do logical thinking, predict his opponent's movements and act upon that, and he was doing a really good
Yeah, he
job on
died.
that.
He passed
His speed
away in
was also the
August. I
most
was right
impressive.
on that one.
Such an impressive speed at such a young age. He will surely become a great ninja. At the end of the week, he increased the chakra weights on his body to
Man,
10.
we're losing a lot
Every
of
day
good
increasing them little by
wrestlers.
little. At the end of the week he got to 10. Moving alone was pretty hard and he had to keep them on every time. After the first week, he kept the weights at the same level until the end of the week. That was when he'd either increase it by a half, 1, 1.5, or 2 kilograms. His healing abilities made things a lot easier. Even after being completely exhausted, the next day would mostly be the same as the last day, depending on how much strain he put on his body. Sometimes he would go overboard and wouldn't be able to train for a day. There also was a problem to which he found a simple solution. Shopping. Naruto going shopping was near impossible. The villagers yelling at him. If he even stared at an item in a store he would be pushed out of the store by the owner. The simple solution to this was the transformation jutsu. Transform to an ordinary civilian so when he went shopping he wouldn't catch any attention. He had already asked his Gigi if he was allowed to do that, and he had allowed him to as long as he didn't do anything out of the ordinary and cause problems. During the years of training, he had found out about his sensing abilities. He had it since he was younger, but it was an unconscious ability, so he never noticed. Looking back, the first time he met his sensei, he noticed that he was really strong. He still can't control it to activate it at
Ted
will. He has
DiBiase is
tried
still
to, many
alive. If
times,
you
but never succeeded.
watch the
Naruto
tribute
also decided to
show
take a look at
for
sealing jutsus.
Monday Night
His
Raw,
favorite Hokage, the fourth
or I'm
Hokage,
sorry,
was a sealing master.
on
So he
SmackDown,
decided to take a look into it. It
you
was
could
really
see that
complicated and noticed that
he
it could
was
be
in the
pretty
lineup.
versatile. But he thought that although it would be cool to
You could
master
see
it,
him
it
only
didn't
for
really fit
a
his style. He was kinda
split
upset but
second,
got over
but
it
he
later.
was
Not all the fourth
in the
Hokage could
lineup.
do, he'll be able to do. Plus he's already decided to become even more awesome than all the previous Hokage. But before that, he had to become a full-fledged shinobi. Someone who carries his duties. Even Naruto knew that before he could become and succeed as a Hokage, he had to succeed as a shinobi. Naruto shakes his head and heads home. A few weeks passed since the real training started. At the end of the day, he dispelled the shadow clones and learned what they learned. The ninjutsu training was going pretty well. Better than he expected, really. He also noticed something during his elemental training.
And I
Although
don't
his main
keep
three
up with
affinities were
the
wind, earth,
new
and
wrestlers.
lightning,
I
wind was
haven't
still
watched
superior to the other
wrestling,
two. His
a
wind
full
chakra
show
was
of
stronger than
wrestling
the
in a
earth and
long
lightning one,
time,
although not by a lot.
due to
If
the
it goes
fact
on
that
like
most
this,
of the
I'll most definitely master these jutsus at the end of the second year. Naruto thought. He was pretty excited. He was getting better day by day. Even his day offs were pretty straining. He was told to load the weights by half and he did so, but it was pretty tiring to move with weights. This is his life now though, so he had to get used to it. After weeks of training, he had an
due to
idea
the
about the
fact that
lightning
it's
release.
mostly
He wasn't really
dialogue
sure
and
it could
not
work, but even Tenzo said
any
that there was a
wrestling.
slight chance it might. So now he makes 40 clones for wind and earth and 30 for lightning alone, and one jutsu also. The jutsu he was working on was a branch technique of an already existing one. It works very similarly the same as the ones he read about, but since it was a branch technique, it was weaker. Weaker but still really useful is what Naruto thought. A few months pass. Naruto's taijutsu and body shape is way better than it was when he began. The progress he made was really good and he was really happy and proud of it. Wind release was what he made the most progress on. It was easier to learn and master than the other two affinities. Earth wasn't that bad either. Lightning was what he had the most trouble on. Whenever he hit a dead end, he couldn't ask anyone for a piece of advice, since anyone he and his sensei knows that is in the village can't or doesn't know the jutsu. While the previous two he could, since his sensei was a great earth user himself and he was close with someone who used wind release as well, so he could point his mistakes here and there. He was also really happy that he decided to focus more on the lightning jutsu since it was the hardest to master. His taijutsu had also progressed really far. He could now better predict his opponent's movements and could react to them faster due to how his body had progressed. It's been 2 months since he started training. He only had one day a week off, but today happened something he didn't really expect. Naruto and Tenzo finished sparring. "Alright, Naruto. Good job on reacting to my attacks this well again," said Tenzo, smiling. He was also proud of the progress Naruto was making. "Thank you, sensei. We'll continue again after a small break?" asked Naruto, panting. An unexpected answer came out of Tenzo's mouth. "No, Naruto. You should take a longer break this time." I was thinking of a 1-week break. As soon as Naruto heard those words, a shocked expression appeared on his face. Sure, he took 1-day breaks every 1 or 2 weeks. But a whole week? But why? Naruto asked. "When is the last time you met your friends outside of school?" Tenzo replied with another question. Naruto then realized. He hadn't met his friends in a long time. He did talk with them while in school, but they rarely went out since he started training. Naruto didn't answer. "You're too focused on training." "Yes, it's important, but don't forget your friends. We'll meet again in 5 days and continue training. Have fun," Naruto, Tenzo said, and with that he disappears. Aw, man. Well, I do see his point. Haven't played with them for a while too. Naruto says, so he goes to meet up with his friends. First, he went to Kiba and see if he was busy. But he was also training, so he, unfortunately, couldn't come. Kiba is an obnoxious guy but a good friend. He's one of the people who didn't hate him. Naruto also admired him for how hard he trains to become stronger. Naruto was thinking of also meeting up with Shino. Shino was also a quiet guy and they barely talked to one another. He's a pretty cool guy, but Naruto couldn't really figure out what he was thinking as he does with others. Sometimes he got the feeling like Shino doesn't really like Naruto or that he bothers him, but he really didn't know. Naruto couldn't find him anyways. Well, that's what I get for trying to meet in such a short time, Naruto thought. Naruto was walking towards Choji's house. Choji was a wholesome guy. He would sometimes offer Naruto chips which he appreciated. While walking he saw Choji and his father going to a barbecue. Naruto knew what was going to happen in the restaurant, so he best not bother them in their lunchtime. Guess that leaves Shikamaru. Naruto thought. Choji and Shikamaru are his first friends.
Whoa.
Through them, he also met other awesome people.
It's like
Although
two of
not a
them.
large friend group, he still appreciated them and was happy that they also didn't judge him. Shikamaru was different. He was a lazy person who said troublesome quite often. He was a nice guy nonetheless. As Naruto neared his house, he saw him and his father playing shogi. He got kinda upset. Everyone was busy. But he couldn't blame them since he wanted to meet them in such a short time. As he turned around to go home, Shikamaru had noticed him. "Hey, Naruto," Shikamaru said in a somewhat loud voice, calling him. Naruto turned around again, seeing that he was noticed. He walks towards them and says, "Yo, Shikamaru. I have some time off, so I thought we could hang out," Naruto said with a somewhat low voice. "Well, I'm playing shogi right now. Want to join in?" Shikamaru asked. "I don't know. I never played it before," Naruto replied back. As they were having a conversion, Shikaku was observing. He did meet Naruto a few times before. He knew he was training with an Anbu, so he had to be strong too. His black tracksuit with blue eyes and white hair gave different vibes each time. Sometimes he was giving off like a slacking off and uninterested vibe, but then also a strong and confident vibe. It was quite strange. He saw that the relationship between his son and Naruto seemed well, so he stands up and heads towards the door to go inside. "Well, you guys have fun," he said and leaves. "So, you never played shogi before, right? Want me to teach you?" asked Shikamaru, though he didn't really want to teach someone since he was lazy. "I don't know, seems like a confusing game. How about we go out for a walk and maybe play something?" "It's been a while," Naruto replied back. Shikamaru smiled, as although going out was troublesome, teaching him a new game from scratch was even more so he thanks Naruto in his mind for not agreeing on learning the game. "Fine, let's go," he replied. "In about 2 years we're finally going to be real shinobi." "I'm really excited," said Naruto. "Yay. You have been training a lot, replied Shikamaru. "Of course. I'm going to be the strongest shinobi," Naruto said with a giggle. "Troublesome. Seriously, where do you get all that motivation from?" Shikamaru asked in a sarcastic voice. Hee, you should try harder, to be honest. I'm sure you could get even stronger." Naruto replied back. "I'm trying hard enough," Shikamaru said. As they were walking towards the park and see a lonely Uchiha sitting by himself. Naruto tried to talk to him a few times before, but he would ignore him. Naruto also felt bad about what happened to him. He felt somewhat of a connection between them, but he would also get pissed off by him because of his attitude. Naruto and Sasuke made eye contact, but then Sasuke just turned his head saying "piss off." Naruto got really annoyed by that, and he himself didn't know why. Normally he wouldn't get easily annoyed. So he just ignores Sasuke and walks with Shikamaru to the park. Shikamaru just looks either down or up, avoiding any eye contact with anyone. "What do you think of him, Shikamaru?" Naruto asked. "I don't know. It's sad what happened to him, so I guess his attitude is excused. I would probably ignore him though," Shikamaru replied back. "Yeah, you probably would," Naruto said with a laugh. Naruto knew really well how it is being alone. He wanted to help Sasuke, but he just ignored Naruto. In the academy, Naruto was usually quiet. Didn't talk when unnecessary. He usually sat next to Shikamaru, Choji, Kiba, or sometimes even Shino. He would however try to sit next to Sasuke and get him to talk. But sometimes that would also be impossible due to the annoying fangirls. Sasuke was at the top of the class while Naruto only tried hard enough to get average grades since he really didn't want the attention Sasuke was getting. Shikamaru however noticed a few fangirls of Naruto, but he always wondered how Naruto could be so oblivious to never notice them. A few hours passed and it was getting kinda late. Shikamaru had to run off home or else his mother would scold him. So Naruto had to walk home alone. He saw the Uchiha again staring at a river. Naruto wondered what he was thinking since he barely talked. He walked up to him and greeted him. Getting no reply. "What are you doing here?" Naruto asked again, getting no response. He was starting to get kinda mad. "I asked you something," Naruto said, but this time he actually said something back. "What do you want?" Sasuke asked. "Nothing. Just wanted to see how you're doing. You know, talking is always better than staying silent," Naruto answered in a lower voice. Sasuke looked at him and then looked down. "Don't want to talk. Just go away," Sasuke said in a higher voice, trying to intimidate Naruto. "Why not? I know how it feels to be alone." And talking with friends always made it better, Naruto said. You don't know anything, Sasuke replied back. Huh? I don't know anything? Seriously, get a grip. Staying alone will bring you nothing. I mean it. But yeah, I guess don't know anything. Naruto shakes his head and starts walking off. Seriously, why did I even try? I'll just go home and eat dinner for now. Naruto thought. Sasuke was thinking about what Naruto said but quickly shook it off. No one understands how I feel. I will get stronger alone and get revenge. Revenge. All Sasuke could think of. Killing his brother, the one who killed his own clan. Naruto then arrives home and prepares dinner. He made 2 shadow clones prepare dinner for him while he went to his room and laid down. He didn't want to let Sasuke suffer alone. But he couldn't bring him to talk to him. So he didn't know what to do now. When Naruto was alone, all he wanted was someone to talk to with. So maybe he really doesn't know anything. It's been 6 years since he started training with his sensei. He learned a lot from him. How to be a shinobi and everything he needed to know. And today was his last that he's going to train with his sensei. Finally, tomorrow he's graduating and he's going to become a real shinobi. The academy was pretty easy for Naruto. The stuff they taught there, he already knew. They only taught him the low-level jutsus that he also already knew. Taijutsu was also pretty easy after a few months of training only on taijutsu. Even though boring, he still loved the academy. He had friends there and the teachers were nice too. 2 years of only taijutsu training had done him good. He did use shadow clones to master the 3 elemental
Trying to
jutsus.
get that
He
ball.
mastered 2 of the earth release jutsus and 2 of wind release ones. Lightning release was a bit tricky. He did train long enough to make it useful in battle, but he still didn't master it completely. It was a copy of the original jutsu after all. Tenzo and Naruto were getting ready for their final spar. Naruto, take off your chakra weights. You need to get used to your body without them, Tenzo said. Naruto was surprised by this. He was told to never take them off. Even if he wasn't training. He even forgot how his body felt without the weights. But he realized why he told him to take them off, so he did just that. Naruto then, as soon as he takes off his weights, immediately notices the difference. He felt so much lighter. He jumped higher. He was faster. He felt as though he was the fastest. He got a bit too cocky, forgetting how strong his sensei is. Very well. Start. Tenzo declares. Naruto immediately rushed at him. Taking his weights off seemed to have made him cockier. But then he saw the difference between himself and his sensei. He threw punches left and right, but none seemed to hit him. His sensei dodged every one of his punches seemingly easily. The moment Naruto noticed that, he jumped back. Hey, I guess it won't be that easy. Naruto then starts thinking about what to do while he dodges Tenzo. He was trying to come up with a strategy but couldn't focus too much because of Tenzo rushing him. Thinking won't do much then, huh? Naruto thought as he then fully focused on the fight. He realized he couldn't strategize unconsciously, and trying to come up with a strategy to fight his sensei right now would only slow him down. Naruto throws in kicks, punches, everything he had available, but they all either got dodged or blocked. He realized just how much he had to train to overcome this level. He knew how weak he is and how much more he has to train to get stronger. To
Come
become
on.
the strongest.
There we go.
Naruto then rushes at Tenzo even harder, trying to land in a punch. A kick. Anything. But everything seemed futile. This frustrated Naruto more than he thought. He got even more aggressive. His style was still really good for an academy student. It barely had any openings Tenzo could exploit even after he got so aggressive. It seemed immature of Naruto to get so frustrated, and that doing so in battle could prove fatal, but this was different. Even though more aggressive, it still didn't leave any
What's
openings.
that guy doing?
It seemed reckless and dumb
Playing
to
with
an
the
opponent,
ball.
which confused them. Tenzo thought he saw an opening. You've got ways to go, Naruto. Leaving an opening like that. As soon as Tenzo was about to exploit that opening, he realized he got tricked by an academy student. Naruto quickly dodged Tenzo and was about to land a kick. Tenzo smiled. Proud of his student. To think Naruto, an academy student, would trick him. He just laughed a little and then quickly grabbed his leg and pushed him to the ground. Naruto then stood up exhausted. As soon as he stood up, he fell again. The spar had gone on for a few hours and it drained him. Tenzo then laughed a bit more loudly. Good job, Naruto. Yet again you impress me, really? Naruto asked excitedly. Yes. Well done. For that, I will treat you to ramen, Tenzo replied. Let's go, Naruto shouted. For the past few years, Tenzo hadn't gone on any missions as an Anbu and hadn't done any Anbu work. He was only focused on training Naruto as ordered by the third Hokage. Since Naruto is finally going to become a Shanin, he thought that he won't need his sensei anymore. He'll be busy on missions and also have another sensei. He was worried about Naruto. He was also sad that he won't get to see Naruto as often. They grew closer and have a really good teacher-student relationship. But he knew that he has nothing to worry about. With Naruto finally becoming a Jonin, he plans on continuing his Anbu work. After finishing their meal, they went on top of the Hokage rock. Naruto knew that this is the last time he's seeing his sensei in a long time. He knows his sensei will continue his Anbu work, so he will be really busy. It upset him, but there wasn't really anything he could do at the moment. So I guess this is a goodbye? Naruto said in a low voice. For now, Naruto. I trust you to become an awesome shinobi. I know you can do it. And don't worry, whenever I have time, I will come and meet you, Tenzo replied. Tenzo then smiled and then said in a sarcastic voice. Alright then, Naruto. Better get ready for tomorrow. It is a big day, after all, you better not fail. Tenzo knew without a doubt he would pass the academy test. Naruto then chuckled. Hi. I will become strong too. Stronger than you, Naruto declared. Tenzo then laughed. Yes, I know you will. They then nodded at each other and both leave. Naruto heads home. It had gotten dark, so he wanted to get a good night's sleep for tomorrow. Tomorrow he's finally going to become a real ninja. Naruto woke up earlier this time. He quickly ate breakfast and went out. He went out for a run. He ran at full speed around the village to see how fast he could go. Since he's finally not using the weights, he wanted to test how much faster he got. And it was by a lot. But he still had ways to go. He knew that because of the spar with his sensei. He knew he still had to train, a lot more and way harder than he did before if he wanted to become the strongest. After taking a small break, he went to the academy. It was earlier than usual, so not everyone was in class. Since his friends weren't there either, he sat alone. As per usual, the fangirls were fangirling over Sasuke. He still thought about what Sasuke said. About him not understanding anything. Naruto thought he understood how Sasuke felt, but that wasn't the case. A few minutes passed and his friends all came. Naruto sat next to Shikamaru and Choji. Kiba and Shino also sat together behind them. It was pretty loud until Iruka came in. The students were nervous about the exams. Some were also not worried about it, confident that they would easily pass. As soon as Iruka came in, the class was silent. Iruka greeted the students and they greeted him back. Iruka has them prepare for the first exam. The written exam. Mizuki, Iruka's assistant, handed out the papers. Naruto had always gone for the average score. But since it was the last day, he wanted to get the perfect score. Yesterday Iruka reviewed the transformation jutsu, in which Naruto also got a perfect score. He answered all the questions asked on the paper. After the time was up, Mizuki picked the papers up. Some were upset, some were not. The test was hard for a few but easy for others. For your final exam, you must each generate a clone, Iruka said, and then continues after a moment of silence. Wait here until your name is called, and then come next door. After a few got their name called, it was finally Naruto's turn. His friends wished him luck, to which Naruto thanked them. He goes next door. Iruka and Mizuki were sitting in front of a table full of leaf headbands. Naruto was excited. Iruka told Naruto to show his shadow clone. But what happened after wasn't what he expected. Since Naruto was an overall average student, he expected one shadow clone, but what actually happened was surprising. First, Naruto didn't even use hand signs, and second, there were multiple and solid clones. Iruka immediately passed him. As the exams were over, Iruka congratulated everyone. Everyone in his class had passed. After the students congratulated each other and celebrated, they all went home. Naruto was about to walk home, but he thought he'd stay outside for a bit. Home alone was boring after all. He lied down on the Hokage's rock looking at the dark sky. The sky was clear, with no clouds. You could clearly see the beautiful stars. Naruto loved to just stay and look at the sky. But for a moment he was interrupted. He saw someone jump right above his head going into the forest. He didn't see who it was, but he did notice he was in quite a hurry. Naruto decided to follow him and see what's up. It didn't take a lot for Naruto to catch up to him, but when he did, he saw someone familiar. Mizuki. Mizuki was actually quite nice to Naruto, so he thought that Mizuki was actually a kind person. Mizuki, what's going on? Naruto asked. Naruto also noticed the scroll on his hand and thought of a theory about what's actually happening. The theory was that Mizuki stole the scroll and is now on the run. But he still didn't want to believe that, as he genuinely believed Mizuki was a kind person. Mizuki decided to stop. Ah, so it's you, Naruto. The devil himself, Mizuki said. Naruto hated that word. He always wondered why he was always called a devil. But hearing those words towards him, Naruto knew he wasn't a kind person, at least no one who uses those words towards a child is. "What are you doing, Mizuki?" Naruto asked again. Mizuki then started laughing. "Don't you see, Naruto? I'm stealing this scroll and in exchange, I will be granted power." Naruto then knew for sure what that scroll is and realized what's happening. "Aren't you a leaf ninja?" "No, if you're willing to betray your village then you aren't a ninja. You're just a failure," Naruto said, preparing to fight Mizuki. "Oh? The devil is getting ready to fight?" Mizuki then started laughing but then continues. "Naruto, do you know why everyone calls you a devil? Why everyone hates you?" Mizuki asks. Naruto then stopped for a moment but then told him to continue. "Because you, Naruto, you're the devil fox who attacked the village 12 years ago." Mizuki then started laughing again. Naruto was shocked. He always wondered why everyone called him a devil. He even came up with theories as to why. He did come up with a theory that the fox was inside him but he didn't want to believe it. This theory seemed the most believable but he just didn't want to accept it's true. After a few moments of Mizuki laughing and Naruto getting his head straight, Mizuki decided to attack Naruto. Naruto's thoughts were all over the place but then he tossed them all aside. He was already kinda prepared for it although he didn't want to believe it. Although he didn't have any proof, the idea was still there. Mizuki was rushing Naruto but Naruto easily dodged him. That speed was nothing compared to his sensei's. Both of them on the ground staring at each other until suddenly another Naruto came out of the ground about to catch Mizuki. Mizuki was really shocked at this but his instincts allowed him to move away. He really didn't expect Naruto to know any jutsus, he was the most average after all. "Hey, I guess it won't be that easy," Naruto said. You devil. Why don't you care? You're the demon fox, the one who killed countless people," Mizuki yelled. Naruto said nothing. He was thinking nothing other than bringing the scroll back and defeating Mizuki. He didn't let it bother him what Mizuki was saying. Mizuki got pissed at this and carelessly started attacking Naruto. Naruto dodged and countered his punches. Mizuki managed to get a few punches in and started rushing more aggressively. Naruto then used it to his advantage and disappeared in a poof of smoke. Mizuki got even more furious and turned around to see Naruto preparing a jutsu. With one hand side, Naruto takes a deep breath, compresses that breath, and releases it in a large crushing sphere of wind chakra. Mizuki barely dodged it but it got his leg. He managed to hide but when Naruto was about to pursue him but he stopped when he was attacked from below. It looked like a combination of an earth jutsu and soft physique modification. But then suddenly Naruto was put into a genjutsu. Naruto fell under his trap. As soon as he released the genjutsu he was being attacked by a puppet holding a sword. He was already about to get hit and he couldn't dodge it. "Shit, I have to use this then. Although not perfect it will help me get out of this," Naruto thought. No hand signs necessary. In one moment Naruto was surrounded by dark red lightning to which enhanced his speed and reflexes greatly. He got the idea of this jutsu when he read the encounter of the fourth Hokage and the Raikage. He read that he used something like this so Naruto created something similar. It was far off from the original but he knew he could train to improve on it. As soon as he activated the lightning jutsu he dodged the puppet and was about to find Mizuki. He could finally use sensing abilities although they were only for a few meters. Naruto found Mizuki again and was about to attack him again. Mizuki was furious. Naruto countered everything Mizuki had. All his plans were ruined because of Naruto. He was so infuriated that he blindly attacked Naruto. Naruto then encased his arm in rock and taking advantage of Mizuki's recklessness, Naruto did a direct hit which put Mizuki down. "This took longer than it should have," Naruto said tiredly. Naruto then notices the scroll near the unconscious Mizuki. Let's see why Mizuki risked his life for," Naruto thought and opens the scroll. The first jutsu in that scroll was the one he already knew. "Boring," Naruto said. After looking at a few more jutsus he noticed something. The one jutsu that his idol is famous for. His eyes lit up but he then senses someone coming. He quickly copies what is said on the scroll about that jutsu and drops it. The one who arrived was Iruka. "Naruto? What are you doing here?" Iruka asked in a confused face. "I saw Mizuki running with the scroll so I followed him and defeated him," Naruto said in a cheery voice. His clothes were in a worse shape than he was though. Iruka then takes a second to let that information sink in and then asks. "You defeated Mizuki? Wait, you didn't look in the scroll, did you?" "It was hard but yeah, I did." Naruto then laughs ignoring the second question Iruka asked. Credit was given to Naruto for returning the scroll safely. After Iruka and Naruto gave their report to the third Hokage, he thanked them and told them they can leave. Iruka was about to leave but noticed Naruto staying. "Naruto, come, I'll treat you to some ramen too," Iruka said. "Go on without me. I want to talk with Gigi a bit," Naruto said with a low voice. Iruka noticed that there was something different about Naruto, so he decided to leave them. Hiruzen already knew what he wanted to talk about. He saw everything on the crystal ball. But he didn't know what to tell him. He can't lie to him anymore. "Gigi, am I really a devil? Is the nine-tailed fox actually sealed inside me?" Naruto asked in a saddened voice. No, of course not. You're just the same Naruto. Yes, you have a fox sealed inside you, but you're still the same Naruto. A normal human, which I love," Hiruzen replied back. Naruto was in deep thoughts. He was really happy to hear those words but was still upset. "Gigi, why was it sealed inside me?" Naruto asked again. He knew why already but just wanted to hear his Gigi say it. "It was to save the village, Naruto. It was sealed by the fourth Hokage. If he didn't seal it inside you, then it would have gone in a rampage, killing hundreds of people," Hiruzen replied back again. He noticed that made Naruto feel better. If it was for the village, Naruto felt as he could do anything. Even if it meant containing a demon fox. Gigi, are there books about the nine-tailed fox or books related to it?" Naruto then asks again. He wanted to research everything about the beast inside of him. Hiruzen then stands up and goes to a shelf of books and scrolls. "Of course there are. You can take them, but be sure to return them," Hiruzen said, pointing at the books. Naruto then smiled. "By the way, Gigi, I took a look into the Forbidden Scroll," Naruto said in embarrassment, rubbing the back of his head. The Forbidden Scroll was a scroll that jutsus that were forbidden to use. The first Hokage himself was the one who wrote the forbidden jutsu in the scroll. They were forbidden due to how much chakra the jutsus cost, and if anyone with not enough chakra tried to use those jutsus dies. But Naruto is someone who has an abnormal amount of chakra due to his genes. "Oh? Well, did you find anything interesting?" asked a curious Hiruzen. Naruto then smiles a little at that question and says, "Well, I did find this one," showing the paper on which he wrote the jutsu in. Hiruzen was shocked but then again thought it was to be expected. "Naruto, just be careful. It is a forbidden jutsu for a reason," Hiruzen said. He didn't have any doubts that he wouldn't learn it though. He was his son after all. Naruto then smiles again. "Hi, Gigi," Naruto says while taking the books and scrolls about the nine-tailed fox and stuff related to him. "Thank you again," Naruto said while leaving. "No problem. I trust you after all," Hiruzen said in a somewhat lower voice. He then sat on his chair again and continued his paperwork. Naruto had just gotten up fully refreshed from the exhaustion. It was midday, so Naruto slept longer than he wanted to. Yesterday had been a tiresome night and he had found out a terrible secret about himself, well, about the demon that's sealed inside of him. He was really upset, but he did get over it after talking to his Gigi. Since it was for his village, he really didn't care about a demon. He felt like he could do anything about his village even if it meant containing a demon. As he stood up yawning, he noticed the books and scroll he got yesterday. "Alright, since I don't have anything to do today besides preparing the ninja registration form, I'll learn everything there is to know about you. And then there is you." Naruto thought, looking at another scroll kinda excited. He quickly ate lunch and made a few shadow clones. First, he sent one clone to prepare the ninja registration form and made the other clones learn the
I
basics of the
want
working
this
of the
one
jutsu he
story
had
to
written
be
down
like
yesterday,
for
and he,
Sasuke
the
and
original, would read about the demon inside him.
Sakura.
He made 25 clones learn about the jutsu. Since the shadow clones had a harder time learning new stuff. Yesterday he was in such a hurry copying the scroll that he really had no idea what he wrote. He wrote it unconsciously due to not wanting to be seen by Iruka, and it was faster this way. The jutsu was called the Hiraishin. There were a few stuff written about it. First, he noticed that jutsu was edited and improved by the fourth Hokage. The jutsu was created by the second Hokage but improved by the fourth Hokage. Naruto noticed the use of the special kunai. The special kunai differ from a standard shinobi kunai in that they have 3 blades instead of 1, and the handle serves as the marker for the fourth Hokage's teleportation ability. To use the Hiraishin jutsu, one had to mark a target with the technique formula. The formula is applied with a single touch which can't be removed even after the target dies. By entering a dimensional void, the user can instantly teleport to a technique formula's location whenever they please, regardless of distance. Anything that the user is holding, contacting, or that is linked with their chakra will teleport with them. It is said that anyone marked with the technique formula is essentially sentenced to death. Naruto thought that with the use of his lightning jutsu, he could do the Hiraishin even better and faster. He was still upset his lightning jutsus didn't increase his physical parameters as much as he wanted to. The Rikage's lightning mode did so on a much greater scale. But he was still proud he was able to replicate it even though at a much lower level than the originals. The Hiraishin jutsu could be used without hand signs if Naruto trained long enough to master it. Naruto sent one more clone to order a few special kunai. He got them right away since the 4th Hokage used to order them there. After getting back home with the special kunai, Naruto puffed. When the original got the memories of the clone, he made another 25 clones to get used to using these special kunai. They weighed more than the normal ones and getting used to fighting with them did no harm. It was getting late and Naruto had finally finished reading all about the demon inside of him. It was quite a lot he had learned about him and his kind. He read that there were 8 other demons, or beasts as it was written, like the one inside him. There were 9-tailed beasts in total and all had unique appearances and different numbers of tails. The one inside him had 9 tails and was also the most terrifying but also the one with the most chakra of them all. He also read that there were other people like him who had a tailed beast sealed inside of them. They were called a Jinchuriki. The tailed beasts were seen as monsters, demons, mindless beasts and were really hated. That hatred went on to their Jinchuriki, which he finally understood why he was hated and called a demon by everyone in the village. The first Hokage had gathered all the tailed beasts and suppressed them with his wood style. He had also given them away to other villages to avoid war. As Naruto read this, he was amazed. He really gave such powerful being away like pets, thought Naruto. The first Hokage had although kept the 9 tails and sealed him inside of his wife. Naruto then noticed something. The last name of the first Hokage's wife. Uzumaki. He also read that the first Hokage's wife, whose name was Mito, was the first 9-tails Jinchuriki. After Mito, the second 9-tails Jinchuriki was Kushina Uzumaki. And after Kushina, it was Naruto. Naruto noticed that so far only the Uzumaki were his Jinchuriki. Naruto knew that the Uzumaki was a famous clan but was later killed. He never knew why they were killed and why he was the only survivor so far he knew. He barely knew anything about the Uzumaki. Naruto then read about the different kinds of tailed beasts, their special abilities, and where they are located. He failed to understand why the 9-tailed attacked the village. Was it really necessary to kill countless people and destroy countless buildings just to avoid being sealed inside a human? Was it really that bad? If that's the case, then I'll do my best for him to be comfortable as much as possible. But would it really help? Was being sealed really the reason he killed? The reason he's evil? Is he really evil? Naruto began to question everything. He was puzzled by this situation. He didn't want to think someone is evil just because someone said he is. He at least wanted to talk to this demon before he came to the conclusion that he's just pure evil. He read about how the Jinchuriki can talk to the tailed beast. He wanted to try that as well. He made all the other shadow clones poof. He felt all their memories come back to him. Naruto shook his head and sat down. He closed his eyes. He sat down for a few minutes but nothing happened. When Naruto started concentrating even harder, he felt something different. He opened his eyes and saw himself in a corridor. It looked like he was in a sewer. As he was looking around, he heard a growl. Naruto immediately knew who and where he was. He walked straight and turned left. After a moment of walking, he finally arrived. Before him, he saw a big cage. "Come closer," said the 9-tails, growling. As Naruto went one step closer, the 9-tails tried to stab him with his nails. "I want to eat you. But this damn seal won't let me," he said, growling even harder. Naruto understood that he was trying to scare him and it was working. It certainly was creepy. "So, you're the 9-tails, huh?" Naruto said. "You came here yourself. You know where you are and you certainly know who I am, kid," responded the 9-tails. Naruto then laughed a bit. "You really are scary, 9-tails." Naruto noticed he flinched a little hearing that. It feels weird calling you that and it doesn't seem you like it either. So what do you prefer I call you?" Naruto asked. The 9-tails was shocked at hearing this. He has hated humans for only seeing him as a power source. A demon. Evil incarnate. No one had ever asked him for his name. "What do you care, kid?" he then asked. "Well, you're inside me and you do already know my name, so it makes sense for me to know yours," Naruto replied. The 9-tails started laughing. "You're the first human to ever ask me that." "Fine, since you asked, it's Kurama," he said. His hate for humans was still the same, but he still had a little amount of respect for the human child. Kurama knew what Naruto thinks, what his intentions are, and what he feels. In his point of view, Naruto wasn't that bad, but he was still a human. The child of the one who sealed him nonetheless. "Kurama, huh? I like it. So, Kurama, I'd like to ask you something if I'm allowed, Naruto said. Kurama was again surprised by this child. He wasn't as bad as the previous Jinchuriki he had, plus he gave off a familiar feeling. Sure, kid. It's not like I have anything else to do, he replied. Thank you. Straight to the case, then, why did you attack the Hidden Leaf Village 12 years ago? Naruto asked. He wanted to know what his intentions were at the time. Kurama sighed. He first didn't want to admit that he was controlled, but he didn't want to lie either. A damn Uchiha controlled me with their damn visual prowess. No matter what everyone else may think, I don't like pointless destruction. Naruto was glad, but he didn't show it. He was in deep thought on who it was that controlled him. But who did it? The only Uchiha who was capable of controlling you was the legendary Uchiha. But he is dead after all, Naruto said, and then continues. Is the one who controlled you still alive? All the Uchiha were killed except 2 after all. I don't